The Central African Republic is one of the least developed countries in the world and also one of the least stable since it gained independence from France. Now, the country has been racked by internal conflict and a succession of coups.
It's the sixth poorest nation in the world, despite what is a vast unexploited mineral wealth of gold, diamonds and uranium. Amid the poverty, more than 3,000 children sleep on the streets of the capital Bangui every night. Andrew Simmons reports from the city streets.
Childhood, as most people know it, has no place on the streets of Bangui. They can smile like any youngster, but it defies any logic about the situation they're in. It's the middle of the night. If these children had parents, they'd be tucked up in bed. This boy says his father passed away, then later his mother died. He walked for days on his own from the countryside into the capital to take up this existence. A few streets away, the marketplace. By night, it's a dormitory. How can children be playful when living in such a world? It may come naturally, but what's natural in this world would be abnormal in any other. No domestic routine, no schooling. The teenagers here, most of whom grew up the same way, are the teachers. If you drive slowly through the streets of this city, poverty is never out of sight. It's close to hand. Young faces with gestures begging for food or a few coins. It's 2:10 in the morning, and this is a good night's sleep for the street children of Bangui. It's a social tragedy being played out in many cities across the world, but here it's particularly profound. This is such an underdeveloped country. Poverty is so rife. When it comes to a list of priorities for action for the government, this issue doesn't even figure. There are some attempts to help. This refuge was set up with international aid money. Ahmon is 11. He was physically abused by his mother, who forced him to live with his uncle. The scar on his head is from when his uncle struck him with a knife. He ran away. The refuge can only provide sleeping accommodation for 60 children, but by day they feed as many as they can. 5-year-old Ulrich was abandoned by his father after his mother died. Thierry is 14. He ran away after stealing money from his father to buy food because he was so hungry. All three can only hope for a normal life. Ahmon had misbehaved. His family believed in witchcraft, and that's why he was abused. They said I was a witch, he said. They hit me. That's how I got this scar on my head. There are no social services here. These children have to rely on charity.
Since 1996, there have been several mutinies and coups. That means the priorities of the state have been on conflict resolution, security and so on. They tend to forget about equally important problems like this one.
And so, back on the streets of Bangui, those out of Madame Apey's care are quite literally forgotten children. Andrew Simmons, Al Jazeera, Bangui in the Central African Republic.